Hey guys, what is going on? This is Ip of RageQuitTV. Gonna be casting a game between LaZ and Liquid Sheth. It is a ZVP on Antiga Shipyards. And LaZ right there messing up his mineral splitting just a little bit. Doesn't lose too much. Thankfully, all his probes had minerals in their mouth, so they immediately went back to the Nexus and split back to their normal positions. It is close positions on Antiga Shipyard, which can give Sheth kind of a nasty feeling in his stomach because if he spawned complete cross position and went for like some type of heavy sentry early pressure to deny Sheth's third base, he has all this movement to go around down here where Sheth can intercept and bait force fields. It is much longer to walk than just going, oh, from right here, and then goes over, and he's pretty much in Sheth's base. So, spawning close positions, Sheth has less of an opportunity to bait any force fields out, which means if the sentries want to come, then, well, they're going to be able to get to Sheth's base at full energy. We do have this one probe going out to scout in the wrong direction, and, well, he'll still get to Sheth's base in time to block the hatch as long as Sheth doesn't do anything crazy like going for a hatch first. But Sheth, he doesn't really take risks in his play. He is one of the more standard just macros. So he's like, just let me get to the late game, man, and I will beat you. And when I beat you, if you want, I will tell you what you did wrong, even if you are stream cheating. Sheth is just that nice, known as one of the nicest players in North America and possibly in the StarCraft universe. We do have the Forge before the Nexus, and now this one probe out. You want to try to do something a little bit sneaky, maybe. Or maybe he just really wants to see if there is a hatch first, which, oh my god, it is LaZ. This is going to be paying off for him. Sheth going for that hatch first. The probe is going to be there. This Overlord does see it coming. And since the Overlord saw... Oh no, Sheth has an Overlord in the base here, so that's not going to juke positions at all. And now we may have a little bit of cannon rushing going down by LaZ. This one probe is going to return back on home. And it would really surprise me if he doesn't try to do any sort of cannon rush because he's trying to get the scout out so early, even setting out that second one. And he is backing on off. He is denying Sheth some mining time. Sheth has 3 drones, not really doing all that much. Sheth mining minerals, making that not as much of a waste. And still trying to take out this one probe from LaZ. And maybe he just thought Sheth was going to be doing something tricky. I don't know. Sheth isn't really known for a cheesy player. LaZ, I'm really curious what he is going to be doing. Maybe just want to know if that was a hatch first. And oh, beautiful surrounded by Sheth right there, taking out that probe. And maybe he was going to go down and build a pylon, but not anymore. The probe does go down for LaZ. LaZ taking a little bit of a hit, sending out 2 scouts. But he does end up finding out what Sheth is doing. Cannon is being built. And this cannon is a little bit early considering that Sheth went for a hatch first. He could have went Forge Gateway Cannon easily because, well, he did scout that hatch first. He made it a point to scout the hatch first. And what does that buy you? It buys you about 30 seconds on your warp gate research. And it just comes out a little bit earlier. LaZ's going to be taking 2 gases right now. Sheth's Overlord just sitting here. Keep an eye on these gases and make sure nothing funky is going down at this natural. And there's nothing that can kill this Overlord for another minute. So he is perfectly fine just chilling out. May want to see the probe transfer down here. Sheth is going to go on a very fast third base at 5 minutes. And this is where that gateway pressure can become a little bit of a problem. But since LaZ went for this double gas before the cybernetics core, I don't know if it's going to be any type of gateway pressure. Maybe a buttload of sentries, but most likely it is going to be some type of Stargate or maybe even DT play. We'll see if LaZ ends up getting this one gas. If he does, then it will definitely be something a little bit tricky. The one probe is going in, and will be scouting Sheth's third base, and LaZ will decide what he wants to do against this, because now the ball is in the Protoss's court to decide what he wants to do. If he doesn't do anything, then Sheth could max out on roaches at 12 minutes and just go for the win. That is a very popular strategy right now. And we'll see what LaZ ends up doing. That third gas is being built. Sheth does not see that. But his Overlord is going into the main. If he clicks on both these assemblers, he will see they were taken at the same time and have mined quite a bit. The Stargate is already being produced. We don't even have Warp Gate research started. Doesn't have the minerals, or he didn't. Will he end up getting this? This would also be a big tell if a Ling did come by. He is using the Chrono Boost on his Nexus, still getting those probes out. But as you do see, the Stargate is on the way. And now Sheth, he does see this gas. Will he actually check how much gas has been mined out of that? Because this would be a big tell. Seeing both these gases, he'd be like, whoa. Both of those have mined about 200. This is 400 gas that you have. And you have 1 gate. So where is that gas going to be going? Of course, It is going to be going into some type of Stargate plan. This one, Overlord actually does come up and sees the Stargate and manages to live. 38 HP left, so now Sheth knows what type of play it is. It has been scouted, and Sheth is probably going to like this because it means no early aggression will come out. Of course, there will be Phoenixes and Voiders, which are going to be a pain, but this just means Sheth can drone up a little bit longer. Normally you switch over to Roaches when this is about halfway saturated, but now that he knows his Protoss player is not going to have a huge ground army, he can switch on over to Roaches when his third base is fully saturated. That one Phoenix is going to be cleaning up the Overlord. The Stalker does clean it up. The Stalker kills the one in the main. So there's 2 Overlords killed right now. Sheth cannot build anything. He has 2 more Overlords on the way. Needs to have 3 more. Or maybe even like 4 or 5 if he wants to build Roaches. This Overlord is going to be falling, and that will immediately supply cap Sheth yet again. Still cannot build units, so his minerals are going to start getting up there, as we do see him at 700. Should just be taking these gases, get this gas, because, well, you have so many minerals, there's nothing you can do with them. 2 queens right here. Those 2 queens are enough to deny these Zealots. Zealots are immediately going to be running back, but with these Phoenix here, he can lift up the queen, do a little bit of damage to it while this one queen cannot take out the Zealot, but if he does some drone micro, he would still be fine. And both his queens have the same energy. This one Spore Crawler does go up and is going to be attacking the Phoenix, and now drone's being pulled off. And I don't know if he's lost a drone yet. Has he? 4 drones killed so far. Now there are 4 Phoenix. Not going to be going up into Void Ray play. Instead, he is going straight for that Robo facility. Maybe trying to get Colossus out early on, because what Sheth is most likely to do to stop this Stargate play is to get some Hydras out. And there's Queens falling, stopping those injects. Sheth is going to be putting on a little bit of pressure. Doesn't even have speed yet. The speed just now starting. A bunch of Lings going out. Of course, he doesn't have Roaches because he just did not have the gas. Had so many minerals. He has a little bit of gas, but not that much. This one, Overlord, is going to be falling as well. Sheth about supply capped yet again, and we actually have a Warp Prism on the way for LaZ. And this is going to be brutal, because now LaZ can just ignore pretty much all static defenses that Sheth would possibly put up and go straight into the main base. And with these Phoenix sniping all the queens, there's nothing to actually kill the Warp Prism. So as long as the Warp Prism stays back here, he can just warp in, and there's nothing Sheth can do about it. Sheth, however, does have a few Spore Crawlers up. The word count is 68 drones to 62 probes. The Zealot's coming in. There's not too much anti-air to deal with that. And now the Zealot's going to be taking out this one queen. The queen is going to be falling, but Sheth is trying to decide if he wants to put on aggression or not. Zealot's coming into this mineral line. What I would love to see Sheth do is some type of Baneling switch. Like Demaga, I've seen him do it constantly against the Stargate play. If they're building all these units in the air, they're not going to have the gas to get the sentries to defend against Banelings. Hydra's being killed before they can group up. Lots of Lings here. Zealots, though, have great positioning, being very cost-effective. They do get overrun, but Sheth has taken a lot of damage. He is Ninja expanding up into the top right. And will the Phoenix even bother going up there? I don't know. The drone count, 65 to 64. So Sheth still ahead, has the 2 Lings just hanging out right here, just waiting for this third base to be taken. The Colossus is now out, and Thermal Lance is on the way. There are 9 Hydras for Sheth, and if he just has Ling Hydra, I don't know what he can do against this Colossus play. It is going to be really tough to hold. Is Sheth getting a Spire anywhere? It doesn't look like it. Doesn't have the tech up, so he is going to need one to get Corruptors out to kill the Colossus, because the Colossus are left unchecked. They will just decimate those Lings and Hydras. Another Overlord is possibly going to be going down. No, he managed to live with 12 HP, and these Phoenix are just being so annoying. The 4th base is up for Sheth. And that queen is pretty high on energy. Maybe wise to swap the natural queen with this queen at the 3rd, because this queen could vomit on that macro hatch that Sheth does have. Another Overlord is going to be falling, but Sheth somehow still in the supply lead. And the Protoss trying to take his 3rd base. Colossus is now going to be shown, and now Sheth's going to be like, oh my god, I cannot engage this force with what I have. Those Hydras are very slow. The Sentries and Stalkers probably could have caught up to them and possibly killed them, but Sheth getting a few Roaches going into the upgrades. It is 1-0 versus 1-0, but 1-1 just about done for the Protoss, while Sheth is working on 2-0. And have these Phoenix gone up there to see that? No, they have not seen the 4th base. This one queen's in the danger zone as she does get lifted up, and will be falling. Maybe she'll land and get enough to inject that hatch. No, she goes down. Lots of energy waste, and now more overlords are gonna be falling. But Sheth has so much more supply, 144 out of 186. He can lose quite a few overlords without it bothering him too much. And has he actually walled this off? Yes, he has. He's going to have to take out his own Hydra Den to get up into his main. And that is not good at all. Sheth now cannot produce Hydras, but he doesn't want to produce Hydras anymore because the Colossus are out. He does have a Spire on the way with this Infestation Pit. The Fungal Growth of Patrick Lands is done researching. Might as well just be renamed to Fungal Growth because you don't build Infestors until you have that research. Now the Phoenix going up. Will they end up going to that base? No, they will not. But the Phoenix, no, do they see the forces moving out? If he sees Sheth trying to protect this area at the top or this drone transfer that is going down, he is going to be knowing that there is a base up there, but a huge Fungal Growth goes down on those Phoenix. Another one goes down. The 4 Phoenix will be cleaned up, and now Sheth's Overlords can float around happily. Warp Prism with 4 Zealots on the way over, probably to do something to this one base. He did see the drone transfer, despite not seeing it. Seeing the drones move out that, why else would they be moving that way? There's got to be a base going in that, but where's that Warp Prism? I don't see it moving out. Oh no, here it is, going off along the edge, trying to avoid any type of Overlord path. Going to take the longest route possible just to ensure that Warp Prism does not get detected. And of course, Sheth doesn't have any Overlords around the map because there was a Stargate play coming out, so does he have to be this cautious? Probably not, just avoid this one watchtower, but it's not going to hurt him that much. That base is going to be in a lot of trouble, but Sheth maxed out now the Protoss at 180. There are 4 Colossus, or 5 Colossus here, and not enough Corruptors to kill those Colossus too quickly, only 6. And now the Warp Prism is going to be going on to this one base. Sheth has plenty of Speedlings that can get there in time to deal with that. The Protoss is going to be taking his 4th base right now, and this base is under siege as those Zealots do get let loose. He's going to be warping in more Zealots, but Sheth's bringing his entire army down here, and this could be a little bit troublesome if the Protoss just went in to attack Sheth's main base, because he is way out of position right now. Zealots are going to be going down. The Corruptors deal with that Warp Prism, but now the Protoss player is seeing Sheth is out of position, and is he going to be going for anything? It looks like yes. He is going to be going out, going to pick off 2 Corruptors. Well, at least just one. This one just barely living, or maybe not barely living. 135 health left. And now LaZ is getting in position. If he got here, killed these Spine Crawlers, Sheth would have a hard time engaging because this is so easy to force field. But LaZ missing his opportunity to do that. And now Sheth's going to be going in. Force field's going down. Some okay force fields, and actually pretty good force fields. Those Roaches cannot get in. But Sheth has so many Corruptors, doesn't want to get in there yet. Just wants to kill off all these Colossus while those Infestors do Fungal Growth. There are High Templars that get some feedbacks going down on those Infestors. Infestors do fall. Those Corruptors have to get back. Sheth has a Hive on the way. He wants to get into Broodlord tech. Trying to hold on as long as he can. Doesn't have that much. He's going to need a miraculous hold right here. There's 23 Roaches on the way. That will be enough. And 1 Colossus is on the way for LaZ. He doesn't have double Robo. Instead, he went up all the way into this High Templar tech to get Archons out and kind of do a tech switch and trying to hit something vicious timing. While Sheth has a lot of food tied up into Corruptors, he is going to go with Archons, which are kind of like Colossus just on the ground. The Corruptors are going to be useless against them. So this is a pretty vicious timing from LaZ. Will it be enough, though? Will these Corruptors be able to soak up damage? It's all going to come down to the AI and how well LaZ can avoid letting the AI make any mistakes. Because if these Corruptors soak up damage, then Sheth can easily hold this. And LaZ has to go in soon. That Greater Spire can start any second. Now the Hive is done. 2-2 on the way for Sheth. Actually, 2 ground and 2 armor. Here we go. Sheth is deciding he wants to engage. That Infestor does go down. Nice blink sniping that. I don't believe there's any. No, there is one more Infestor in this. More force fields go down, trapping 1 Roach. And staying in this area is definitely a little bit risky. 1 Colossus out. That will be picked off almost instantaneously. Big Fungal Growth on these Stalkers. The shield's a little bit injured. Now Sheth going in. There's no force fields here. Stalkers are blinking back. 1 force field does go down. That is not enough. These Roaches look like they may be not enough. The Stalkers just outnumb them, getting that superb concave because Sheth was fighting this one area. There's Corruptors still good on HP. They did not soak up any damage. At the same time, the Protoss is taking yet another base. And some nice blinking from the Stalkers. It would be nice if LaZ had a Warp Prism to come out and do harassment at this base, or use this one pylon he is going in to go do harassment on these bases, because Sheth has to keep all his army right here to deal with this. The Stalker's going to get a nice blink off. There are 2 sentries. Force fields go down. Now the Stalkers can kite back. Now he can kill those Corruptors, but no, the Roaches do keep running by. The Stalker's trying to find a way to get out of this situation alive. Funk Growth does go off on that Stalker, and these Roaches not having the best micro. Now they're going to be going in. More Zealots do join the mix, and this is going to be just barely held, it looks like, by Sheth. Sheth is going to hold here. 170 supply for Sheth, 100 for the Protoss player. How does Sheth have so much supply? He has 7 Broodlords on the way. While all this engagement was going down, Sheth was just calmly taking up to that hive, to the greatest spot, because he already had the hive before that, to get Broodlords out. 7 on the field, 51 Lings, 3 more Infestors, and now the Protoss is suddenly in a horrible situation. He has 1k banked up, 1k banked up, but he cannot spend it all right now, whooping in a lot of Zealots. And he needs to do a whooping of High Templars next to get some Archons out to deal with these Lings. And also, well, just everything else. It is going to be hard to defend this with what the Protoss has. If he gets a whooping of just pure High Templars, it may be enough. And as Sheth does come down here, this Broodlord's going to siege up, get whatever pokes he can get. Lings just sitting underneath them. If the Stalkers try to blink under, the Lings will try to do their best to take out all the Stalkers. It is 3-1 upgrades right now versus Sheth's 2-2, and his air upgrades are at 1-0. The Lings, though, clean up all those Stalkers, and now the Protoss is on the back foot. Sheth getting momentum and just not letting go of this. He is going to be going up into the main. The Protoss is in a lot of trouble right now and just ends up leaving the game. Cannot believe how quickly that momentum switched. And we will be going into a little bit of analysis. And I'm really curious how the Protoss managed to get on that many bases and not have an army. So let's go 20 minutes. This is just before he takes another base. Let's look at his probes. Good. 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 He's got good saturation. 78 probes. Sheth is just a beast. Let's go to the loss tab. Protoss has lost less. Sheth has a lot of supply, but it's a lot in Roaches. And we're just trying to find out the point where the Protoss just loses everything. Maybe going in this engagement was the wrong idea. He may have just wanted to say, hey, let's go back, let's get a Void Mothership out, because I know I will need that maybe. Now Sheth does pull back. And let's pause the game right here. Let's look at these warp gates. Okay, he can't warp in. Doing a decent job. And we'll just keep these warp gates highlighted. Does he only have 6 gates? That may be an issue. Oh, no. Still not that many gates considering how many probes he does have. Can warp in 4, so we'll just keep an eye on this. Because right now, he can be warping in units. He is not doing it just yet. And still, 7, 8, 9, so all the gates are idle right now. He is going in, and this, missing this production cycle right now, this is big. Still not warping in. There we go. Finally got that whoop in. Blinking back. And that whooping actually does go to the one base all the way up here. But it gets dealt with Lings. Fungal Growths, and maybe it's just the Fungal Growths on the pure Stalker, which just tilts the favor in the Sheth. You can see the supply now starting to equalize. Well, actually, the loss tab equalizing the supply going into Sheth's favor. All the Stalkers are weak. The Roaches make quick work of them. So, I think it does come down to Protoss trying to macro, doing all that. And that is the hardest part about being Protoss. Being in those big engagements, trying to do good blink with your Stalkers. And suddenly, when you try to do blinks with your Stalkers, you can no longer go back to a pylon. He may be using F keys. I can't see if the Protoss uses F keys, unfortunately. What I love doing is keeping one pylon on a hotkey. Generally, I will keep it on like 3, mainly because hit double tapping 3 is very easy right after W, so 3, 3, W, that's right next to each other. I love doing that. Go to my pylon, get a whoop in, and then like 2, 2 or 1, 1, wherever I want to go on my army, and then go back into the fight. So we'll go into SC2 gears, and I have to open up this replay. Let's go to Sheth, LaZ. So looking at the resources gathered, you can see Sheth has a lot more, just like any other Zerg. Zerg generally always spends more resources. If they don't spend more and win the game, I want to find that replay at pro level, because that just rarely happens. Maybe Stefano can pull it off because he has such good control. Let's go to Sheth's injects. This is going to be pretty bad because, again, those Phoenix did screw it up a little bit. 13.2 seconds. You see all the missing injects. Let's see. This will be good to look at. So, going over here, at the 30 thing, at a granularity of 30, if you're maxed out, there's really no excuse to have these. These are missed whoopins. And even if you go to 20, you have some missed whoopins right here. It's not that long of one, it's not that critical. But let me see if I can find a Protoss that plays Sheth. What is the search source? Okay. So we'll just take this off. Find another Protoss. Is there a good one here in this? Atero? He's not a bad Protoss. We'll see what his looks like. Okay. Not looking as good as I wanted to, so I'm going to pop back over here, and we're going to look at an MC game. Because I know MC, that's kind of what sets him apart, that many people don't realize how good his macro is. And I hope this game, because I haven't actually got a chance to look at this game, I hope this game that I have of MC is him with good macro, because everyone does have their off days. So going through all my replays, trying to find one of MC. Who was he playing? I think it was Tasia he played. Yes, it was. It's not the most impressive. If we go to 30, you can see maybe right here this one gap. But this is all solid. It's not as good as I wanted to. There was a Protoss I'd casted a few days ago that was just phenomenal with this. I don't know who it was. Let's see. Tasia. Will I recognize it? Maybe it was IMC'd? It must have been IMC'd, yeah. So, getting rid of Tasia. You can just see IMC'd's macro. It is phenomenal. Let's go to this granularity at 15. Even at 15, he has these small gaps. At 20, relatively solid. This is kind of what a Protoss macro should look like overall. There's a few gaps, a few more than 10, maybe a few less than Zerg. But you should always try to minimize all these gaps. Going back over into the game we just casted at the 20 granularity, you can see a lot more just small gaps. So, LaZ definitely could have worked on his macro a little bit better, but again, that is the hardest part about being Protoss. So we'll go over into the units. 237 Lings, 121 Roaches, 20 Infestors, 29 Corruptors. 1 Immortal, 5 High Templars, 8 Colossus, 4 Phoenix. And also, one thing I don't really like about LaZ, he got, like, all the techs. And the only thing he was missing was a Fleet Beacon, pretty much. But, I mean, 8 Colossus, 5 High Templar, he didn't really focus on any tech. He kind of just did all these sudden tech switches, and was just spread all over the place, and maybe spread himself a little bit too thin. Maybe not going for the High Templars, and instead using that on a lot of upgrades, going up to 3-3 faster, may have been better. At least in that Stalker vs. Roach engagement, that would have been so much better to have the upgrade instead of just 2 measly Archons. So, yeah. I think that kind of sums the game up. 14 fungal growths, 19 force fields, 9 feedbacks. At least good use on the feedbacks. Maybe that's why he wanted the high templates to stop those infestors. That kind of does make sense now that I think about it. But even if you do get fungal growth, you can force field and delay, like, just disengage the battle, get your shields back up, because I think shields will regenerate much quicker than energy on infestors. So if you get fungal growth, you can pull back, regen your shields, and then go back in, and eventually they won't have fungals anyways. But if they do get chain fungals off, oh man, are you in trouble. So that will be my cast. Take care, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you tomorrow.